everybody and welcome. I hope all of you guys had a wonderful holiday season and a very happy new year. Today's project is probably going to be my most favorite collar that I have ever put together, and I'm pretty excited about seeing how it comes out. So let's just get started. So for this project, it is a quick release buckle collar, and I am using a 1-inch nickel plated quick release buckle as well as a 1-inch O-ring. For the cords that I'll be using today, I have my double cow's hitch hooked up with 550 electric blue paracord. So if you're not familiar with how to hook up the double cow's hitch, I will leave a link below. I show you guys how to hook it up to a quick release buckle as well as the rings for the adapter to make an adjustable collar. So I will leave that link below for you guys. I also show you guys how to hook it up to your jig if you're not familiar with that. So again, I have 550 paracord in electric blue for my double cow's hitch. I'm also going to be using white in 550 and polar blue in 550. I'm using 275 in electric blue, and I am using ice blue glitter cord. This is hollow, so it's been gutted, and it comes this way. And I also have some beads that I will be adding as well. These are just transparent beads, and they have a small design on them. If you are interested in any of these supplies, I will have everything linked down below for you guys. The first cord that I'm going to be adding is the polar blue, and what you want to do is you're going to loosen up your 2 cow's hitches at the top of your work. I am using a paracord needle. You don't have to. You can just melt the tip of your cord just a little bit to create a hard cap so you can push it through, but a paracord needle does make the job a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the polar blue, and I just want to go right in between the 2 cow's hitches, just right in between those 2 cow's hitches. And then I'm going to pull it to the other side, and I will bring the middle of the cord to the top of my work. The next cord that I'm going to be adding is the glitter cord, and I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with the polar cord. I'm just going to go right through these 2 cow's hitches to the other side, and I'm going to take that to the middle at the top of my work. The next cord that I want to add is the white, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in between this first cow's hitch. I'm going to go underneath these 2 stitches to the left and come up this second cow's hitch right through the middle. So I'm going to go right through the middle of the first one, go underneath the first stitch to the left, the second stitch to the left, go up the second cow's hitch in the middle, and I'll bring the middle to the top of my work. And the last cord is the 275 cord, and I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with the white. I'm going to go in between that first cow's hitch, go underneath the 2 stitches, come up the second cow's hitch. It's a little tight. Oh, there you go. And then I'm going to bring that cord also to the middle, to the top of my work. Alright, once you have your cords to the middle at the top of your work, I suggest tightening everything up. I also suggest double checking your measurements just to make sure that nothing moved around, because this is a quick release buckle collar. If your measurements are off, The only way that you can fix it when you're at the end of the collar is to redo the whole collar. So you would have to take it apart and redo it, which really, to be honest, that's not that big of a deal, but it's a bummer when you get all the way down to the bottom and you're ready to finish it off and it's not fitting correctly. So I do suggest double checking your measurements just to make sure. I'm going to be starting by putting my O-ring at the top of my work. I do use a small clothespin to hold it up there because I work on an inclining desk. And the way I'm going to start is on my right side, and I'm going to take my right bundle of 550 electric blue cord, and what I want to do here is I'm going to go underneath this first cord that is on my right up the middle, over that second cord that is on my left. So go underneath, right up the middle, and then over. You can take the cord now on your left side, the 550 electric blue, go underneath the cord that you just worked. And now you're going to go underneath the first cord, which is now the one on your left. Go up through the middle and then over that second cord, which is on your right. So go underneath, up, and over. Next, I'm going to take my polar blue that is on my right side. And what I want to do with this one is I want to go underneath all of my work and come right up the middle, and then you have this loop right here that you've just created. You're going to go down that loop. So take your polar that is on your right side, go underneath your work, right up the middle, and then down that loop on your right. Take your polar on your left now. You're going to go underneath again your work, right up the middle, but you have this loop right here on your left side. You're going to go down that loop. So go underneath, right up the middle, and then down that loop on the left side. So I'm going to take my clothespin off now. The next cord that I'm going to grab is my glitter cord on my right side. And I am going to push my glitter cord through the O-ring. And I want to find these two horizontal electric blue pieces that are directly in the middle. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my glitter cord and I'm going to go around those two horizontal cords. I'm also going to go around the bottom part of the O-ring, and I want to come up directly in the middle, but then I want to bring that glitter cord to the right of the glitter cord that I've already gone through. So take your glitter cord on the right and you're going to go around those two horizontal cords, around the bottom part of the O-ring, come up through the middle, and then you can just take your fingers to the right and pull your cord so you're on the right side of your working cord, and just pull that through. Next, I'm going to take the glitter cord on my left side and I am going to go right through that O-ring again. Now I'm going to take my left cord and I'm going to go around those two horizontal electric blue cords, go around the bottom part of the O-ring. I'm going to want to come up the middle, but I want to be on the left side of my working cord. So go take your left cord, go around those two horizontal pieces, go around the bottom part of the O-ring, come up through the middle, and then take it to the left of your working cord and pull it through. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the white. I'm going to take the white on my right and I'm going to push it through the O-ring. Now I'm going to take my white on the right and I'm going to go around those two horizontal pieces around the bottom part of the O-ring. I'm going to come up through the middle, but I want to be on the right side of my working cord. So go around the two horizontal pieces and the bottom part of the O-ring, come up through the middle, but you want to be on that right side of your working cord. So you're coming up in between your white and your glitter cord, and you're just going to pull that up. And for the left, you're going to push that white cord through the O-ring. Now you want to find those two horizontal pieces, and it does get like very congested right there. It's all jumbled up. Once we're done with the O-ring, it'll be a lot easier to see and to do. So take your left cord. You're going to go around those two horizontal pieces, around the bottom part of the O-ring. You're going to come up through the middle, but you want to be on the left side of your working cord, so you'll be bringing it up between your white and the glitter cord that is on your left side. So go around. And bring it up the middle, but then go to the left of your working cord, and you'll be in the middle of the glitter cord and the white on the left. Pull that through, and for the 275 cord, exact same thing that you did with the glitter and the white. Take the one on the right, push it through the O-ring, now you're going to find those two horizontal pieces in the middle, and you're going to go around them as well as the O-ring, and the O-ring will be like right next to those two horizontal pieces now. You're going to go around those, you're going to come up the middle, but now you want to be on the right side of your working cord, so you're going to come up in between your 275 cord and your white cord, and you're just going to bring that up. Take the one on the left, go through the O-ring, again around the two horizontal pieces and the O-ring, and come up the middle. Let's go around and up the middle, but you want to be on the left side of your working cord, so go on the left side. You'll be coming up in between your working cord, the 275 and the white on the left side, and just pull this up. And now you can tighten it up. So as you're tightening it up, you can also push through the 275 cord, the white cord, and your glitter cord. Push those through the O-ring. As you're tightening, it'll help smooth it out and get it nice and tight as well. Okay, so once you have your work nice and tight, you can roll up the ends of your cord. The cord that you're not going to want to roll up is the 275 cord, and that's because we'll be putting the beads on, but all the other ones can be rolled up and it'll be a lot easier to work with. So to start the next weave, I'm going to take my electric blue on my right side. I'm going to go underneath that first cord on my right up the middle, and then over that second cord on my left. I'm going to take the cord on my left now, go underneath the cord that I just worked, and I'm going to take the electric blue on my left, and I'm going to go underneath the first cord, which is now on my left, right up the middle, and then over that second cord on my right. Now I'm going to take my polar cord, and what I want to do here is I want to go underneath all of my work, right up the middle. And then I'm going to go down this loop on my right. Take my polar cord on my left now, go underneath all my work, right up the middle, and then go down that loop on my left. Now I'm going to find those two horizontal pieces, and I'm going to pick up on those a little bit, and like I said before, it's going to be a lot easier now that we've got the ring taken care of. So I'm going to pick up on these horizontal electric blue pieces a little bit. I'm going to take my glitter cord on my right side, and I want to go over those two horizontal cords, and I'm just going to go out the right. So go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left now. You're going to go over and around, but out the left. So go over and around and out the left. Now I'm going to take the white on my right side. I'm going to do the same that I just did with the glitter cord. I'm going to go over and around and out my right. So I'm going to go over, around, out the right. So I'm coming up in between my working cord and the glitter cord. Take the one on the left. You're going to go over and around and come up, and you'll be in between your glitter cord and your working cord. And now for the 275 cords. Because they get kind of squashed in there, make sure that they are not crossed. Take your right cord, go over those two horizontal pieces and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left, and then tighten it up. Once you have your work tight, we can start the weave all over again. So I'm going to start on my right side with my bundle of electric blue 550, and I'm going to go underneath, right up the middle, and then over. I'm going to take the one on the left now, go underneath the cord that I just worked. I'm going to go underneath the first cord, which is on my left, right up the middle, and then over. Take my polar now. Oh, I got stuff a little bit jammed up here. Okay. Next, I'm going to take my polar that is on my right side. I'm going to go underneath my work, right up the middle, and then down that loop on my right. Take the one on my left, and go underneath all my work, right up the middle, and then down that loop on my left. Find those two horizontal electric blue pieces. Take your glitter on your right side, go over those two, around, and then out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left. You're going to take your white on your right side now, and you're going to go over and around those two horizontal pieces and out the right, right in between your working cord and your glitter cord. Take the one on the left now and go over and around those two horizontal pieces, but out the left, and you come up in between your working cord and the glitter cord. Alright, so now I'm at my 275 cords, and I'm going to be placing on a bead. And I have 3 different colors here, But I honestly think that the best color that I should put on are these more blue colors. I'm not so sure about these lighter blue colors. I think they kind of look a little bit like aqua or maybe like a pastelish color. And then I'm not sure about the white going against the white cord. So I'm going to stick with this blue one. And that's the ones that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to put the bead on both cords. Okay. I'm going to also make sure that my cords are not crossed at all, and then I'll take the one on the right and I will find those two horizontal pieces and I'll go around them and out the right. Take the one on the left and go around and out the left, and then I will tighten it up. So once you have that tightened up, I'm going to start the next weave. For my beads, I'm going to be putting on a bead every third weave. So again, I will be starting off on my right side with the 550 electric blue bundle, and I'm just going to do what I've been doing the whole time. I'm going to go underneath that first cord, right up the middle, and then over. Take the one on the left, go underneath the cord that you just worked, underneath the first cord, right up the middle, and over that second cord. Now I'm going to take the polar blue and I'm going to go underneath all of my work, right up the middle, and then down that loop on my right. Take the one on my left, go underneath, right up the middle, and then down that loop on my left side. Find those two horizontal pieces. Take your glitter cord. You're going to go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left. Take your white that's on your right now, go over and around and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left. Take your 275 now on the right side, go over, around, and out the right. Take the one on the left, go over and around and out the left, and then tighten it up. I've gone about 3 more weaves down so you can see a bigger spot done. So I have my beads coming down on every third weave, and that will continue all the way down the collar. I love this collar so far. I really do like these colors, and they are definitely not disappointing me. I am going to stay with the blue beads. Like I said, I have different colors here. I have a white, like a pastel-y kind of bluish color, and the blue, and I'm just going to stay with the darker blue. I think that that one is going to look the best on here. I don't think the white will show up very well against the white cords, and the other one, it's more of a like an aqua kind of color, and I don't think that it matches as well as I thought it would. So I'm going to stick with the blue ones, and I'm going to continue doing this collar until the very end with the same pattern, and when I'm done I'll show you guys how I do my tie off and what it looks like when it is completely done. Okay guys, I'm at the end of the collar and I took it off the jig, and now we can weave in our ends, and the cords that I'm going to be weaving in are the glitter, the white, and the 275 electric blue cords. The rest will cut and melt where they are. So I'm going to be weaving in without my paracord needle. The way So I'm going to start on my right with my electric blue, and you have a gap between your work and your double cow's hitches. You're going to go in between that gap, just like that, and you're just going to pull that to the other side. You'll do the same for the glitter on the left as well as the white cord. For the 275 cord, what you're going to want to do is you have a really small hole right here in between the two cow's hitches, and that's where you're going to end up putting your 275 cord through. So I'll start with the one on my right, and I'm just going to put it right through that hole, maybe, and pull that to the other side, and I'll do the same for the one on the left. Okay. Once you have all that finished, we can start to cut and burn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off on my sides. I do like to start off on my sides. Make sure that everything is nice and tight, and then I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch away from the collar or up from the collar, maybe a little bit longer than that. I'm going to fray them out. I'm going to melt the tops and then squish it down. So I am going to start with the one on my top. I'm going to burn this one. You just want to melt it. Try not to let it catch on fire. And if you are working with a plastic buckle, be aware that when you're doing these top cords, that your buckle is so close to it. So try to point the flame away from that buckle, because your buckle will melt. I'm going to do the one on the side now. Squish that down. And now I'll do the same for the opposite side. So once we got the two sides done, we can start on the back side of the collar, and I'm going to start with the two white cords that are directly in the middle, and I'm going to cut one at a time. I'm going to go about 1/4 of the way up again. I'm going to fray it out, and I'm going to hold all of these other ones out of the way. I'm going to melt this one. And then I'm going to squish that down. Now I'll do the white next to it, and then I will do the glitter cord, and then the 275. I will do all of them one at a time. The reason why I like to do it like that is because then I can hold all of these other ones out of the way while I'm working on that one. I forgot to mention, and I do apologize, that when working with the glitter cord, it is not as easy to melt because it's already gutted, and it can be difficult to get to stick. So what I like to do is I take a little bit from one of my scrap pieces that I just cut off of the cord that's on the inside, and I lay those down right where I'm going to be putting that glitter cord. And I put my lighter on like super low, and I just lightly burn those strands that I just placed down. And then you can take your glitter cord and then squish that on top of those melted strands, and then it will stick. So again, I'm just putting those strands right where I'm going to be pushing down that glitter cord. And I'm going to lightly melt them. And it shrivels up pretty quickly. And then where those strands are melted, I will place that glitter cord and it will stick. And then the 275 cord, again, one at a time, and you could just go over those strands. So once you're done melting the ends of your collar, you can use the collar as it is. You can just, buckle it up to your dog. And it should be fine. I like to put a little bit of Gorilla Glue on the ends that I melted. And I do that because I just want a little bit of extra security. I sell my collars, so I just want to make sure that they never come apart for the customer. So I've been doing this since the very beginning, and I've never had any complaints. I use clear non-foaming Gorilla Glue, and a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a whole bunch, but you just want to put it on the caps of your cord that you melted, and just right in this general area right here where you melted. And like I said, you don't need a whole bunch, and you just want to smear it around, and you're going to let that dry. And then I will show you guys what the finished collar looks like.